I'm not a witch. I don't cast spells. No one taught me magic.
Your power exceeds that of the Sorcerer Supreme.
Scarlet Witch is now the most powerful magical being in the MCU, fated to rule or destroy the world, more powerful than any Sorcerer Supreme. But can she really go up against the biggest threats out there when push comes to shove? Like true, world-shattering threats. Threats like Darkseid.
I will stride across their bones and bask in the glow of anti-life, and all of existence shall be mine.
So who wins here? Scarlet Witch or Darkseid? Well, let's get into it. But before we get into it, well, if you think Scarlet Witch wins, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you disagree, if you think Darkseid takes it, be sure to turn that notification bell. Now, let's get it. So for most of her life, Wanda Maximoff's powers were essentially running on autopilot, just operating in the background of her life, really just surfacing in the form of telekinesis and telepathy, plus some energy powers, which is genuinely just shocking to think about, because her telepathy is enough to incapacitate half the Avengers, force them to live out twisted nightmares. It's enough to control whole cities several times. It's enough for Wanda to overpower and tap into the Mind Stone, one of the most powerful objects in the universe, and it's enough to even get into the minds of other witches and sorcerers. Her telekinesis is enough to hold up a crashing air traffic control tower, lift up massive waves of threshers up into the air, then send them crashing to the side, overpower leviathans, peel back Ultron's impenetrable vibranium body, and tear out his heart, even block attacks from Thanos, then completely and totally overpower Thanos, leave him helpless and in her control. Then her energy powers are enough to destroy the Mind Stone, while simultaneously holding back Thanos with the 5 other Infinity Stones. So yeah, no big deal there. And it's really no surprise that Scarlet Witch is now the most powerful hero in the MCU. We really should have seen it coming all along, because all this are powers not even operating at her full potential. So what is Wanda's true potential? Well, honestly, we don't really know for sure. I bet she's even got more to show us, but we do have a pretty good gauge now. Like take the Westview Hex for instance. She was able to perform some massive reality warping feats on such a huge scale. Just a ginormous scale. The most impressive thing is that she did it with no known skill, no preparation beforehand, while other sorcerers would have required master level skill and weeks of preparation to pull off something like that on an even smaller scale. Through just a massive surge of chaos magic, Wanda placed a hex on the town of Westview, New Jersey, transmuting it back to the 1950s and brainwashing all of the residents to be actors in Wanda's sitcom world, WandaVision. Now on this show, Wanda could live out the life she dreamed of with Vision in the style of her favorite TV sitcoms. Then all these adventures were then broadcast to the outside world on old school televisions. Inside the Hex, Wanda had complete and total control, even to the point of creating a new Vision and children who only existed inside of Westview. She could manipulate reality at will, introduce color, rewind at time, edit out footage, manipulate the cameras, roll credits, even pause everything. She managed to mind control everyone in the town, forcing them to act out their parts in WandaVision, all while going through incredible emotional trauma and experiencing the same pain and anguish that Wanda was feeling. Residents with background roles are forced to do the same thing over and over and over again. And it's even worse for the people that live on the edge of town, where they're motionless but still alive. And again, for the most part, all of this was Scarlet Witch's magic running on autopilot. So if this was on autopilot, and if all all of this insane stuff that she did before was just barely tapping into her powers. What can she do now that she's the full-blown embodiment of the Scarlet Witch? Well, for starters, she can beat Doctor Strange. She can beat Wong, beat two Sorcerer Supremes at once, and take down Kamar-Taj. All the forces of the mystic arts combined, all at once. So yeah, no big deal. She was destined to either rule or destroy the world, making her essentially a planetary threat. She started casting spells like dream walking, allowing her to jump from universe to universe. Doctor Strange was pretty well convinced that Wanda was becoming, or had already become, a universal level threat. And then she went up against another team like the Avengers, like the Justice League, the Illuminati, and ripped them all to shreds. Some of them she literally ripped to shreds. She was manipulating reality at will, throwing chaos magic all around, telepathically breaking necks, truly going all out. But then comes along Lord Darkseid, tyrant of apocalypse, strongest of the new gods, and someone who has like a grand total of 5 minutes of screen time. So we don't have like the clearest gauge on just how powerful Darkseid is. But still, at the same time, we know that he's pretty powerful. He created a massive crater on the ground by swinging his big old war staff around. He can send people just flying, fight against a Green Lantern, even fight against Zeus himself, a literal god king. Then there's the big one. He crushed Steppenwolf's head under his foot. Steppenwolf is a threat to Wonder Woman, a threat to Aquaman, a threat to most of the Justice League combined. Not really a threat to Superman, but God, who is at this point? But then Darkseid comes in and just quite literally crushed his head under his heel. You gotta be pretty strong in order to do that. Just like you gotta be pretty freaking strong to have somebody like Steppenwolf serving you in the first place. He was durable enough to take attacks from Green Lantern, take attacks from gods like Artemis and Poseidon, but there's a clear limit to his durability, at least for the last time that we saw him, as Ares and Zeus were able to really mess him up, seriously hurt him and send him packing. And that is actually the biggest knock against Darkseid here. We just haven't seen much from him. We know that young Darkseid is around the same level as Steppenwolf and Doomsday. Zack Snyder himself said that much. But as to how much more powerful Darkseid is now, absolutely no clue. And that's not great, especially when going up against Scarlet Witch. Because, yeah, sure, we could theoretically guess that Darkseid is as powerful as he is in the comics. Could scale him up to that level. But if we're gonna do that with Darkseid, when there's really no clear evidence that we can, why are we not doing the same thing with Scarlet Witch? Why don't we scale her right on up there with House of M? Have her warping all of reality, reshaping it all with just a word. I mean, there's more evidence that Wanda is near that level than Darkseid is on that level. Then that's not even talking about Scarlet Witch versus Thanos. Thanos has always been seen as an equal with Darkseid. They're essentially the same character, just in different universes. And Wanda absolutely trashed Thanos. Could have and would have killed him if he hadn't called him back up like that. And we're saying that she can't do something similar, at least try, with Darkseid? I think if we see any more of Darkseid, any more movies, Justice League Snyder Cut Part 2 or Part 3 or something like that, then Darkseid wins. But that's not the case right now. We don't know what Darkseid can do, so we can't really assume what Darkseid can do. He's kind of featless. And compare that with Scarlet Witch, everything she's shown us that she can do, well, I think for now at least, she takes it. Scarlet Witch wins. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're going to see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.